Manchester United, Ashley, seems to be a change in approach with their transfer dealings. Matheus Cunha is in. Bayrn Mbeumo, they remain optimistic of doing a deal for him. One source claims it could come this week, another bid to match what Brentford want. We think they want around £65 million. But both of these players have got significant Premier League experience, which has kind of been not the case, shall we say, in some of United's previous signings. They've been signing players from leagues with players that haven't had experience in the Premier League. Do you think they are learning lessons now with the approach that they're taking in this window?
I think they've got to be learning lessons after the last few windows that have gone on and haven't been the most successful windows. I think it's one of them where you need to bring in experienced players that know the league. Of course, you're going to bring in players that might not have played in the Premier League, and they could do extremely well for the club. But if you're going to go back to I'll go back to the boss, and at times most of his signings that would have had Premier League experience, he would have looked and thought, are they going to gel into the squad? And he went on a dossier to make sure he knew the players' families, friends, their eating, sleeping habits. They knew everything. He was, like I say, a genius. He just knew what players would fit into a squad that were hungry, that wanted to work hard, and had the desire to be a winner. And I think that was a massive, and that was a key to when the boss was signing players. So I think that it's a different approach from Manchester United, and I think that you've got to have a different approach to what's gone on in the past, and hopefully see a significant change in what's been going on.
Yes, Cunha in, Mbeumo likely to join if United can match what Brentford want. But it's likely that Marcus Rashford doesn't have a future at Manchester United. Barcelona really pushing to get a deal done. They've explored the conditions of a potential deal for Marcus Rashford. Manchester United now expecting an approach from Barcelona. Rashford clearly wants to go there, but Barcelona might not be able to do anything but a loan, and that can't be ruled out, even though Manchester United would prefer a permanent move for Rashford. Look, you've played with him over 100 times at Manchester United. What's your overriding emotion if it is to be the end of Marcus Rashford at Old Trafford?
I think that you've got to look at the last, especially last season, with the way that things have been. Like I've loved him since the day that he trained with the first team. He's a fantastic player, but I think it's you can't always just stay at Manchester United. There's got to be something that's got to happen. There's got to be a change. For him last season, he went to Aston Villa, and I think that he enjoyed his time there. You saw him; he had a smile on his face again, and he looked like he was enjoying his football. So, I think now he's going to have options, whether it's options that he wants or not. There's going to be places where teams want to take him. So, I hope that this is going to be a right move that he takes, and it's just about his football that he goes and gets on with, and shows his football that he goes people that the Marcus Rashford that we know that because he, like I say, he's a fantastic player, and he showed that in glimpses, and when he showed that to Aston Villa.
Manchester United would pay €80 million, £70 million, to sign Sporting Lisbon striker Victor Gyokeres tomorrow, according to Portuguese journalist Pedro Sousa. United's Premier League rivals Arsenal are currently in negotiations to sign the Sweden international, but have so far been unable to match Sporting's rigid demands for their star centre-forward. Even though Arsenal are the only club currently in talks to sign Gyokeres after the player made it clear it was his preferred move. Sousa believes, via Leonino, that there are three other clubs, United, Juventus and Atletico Madrid, who would be willing to match President Federico Varanda's €80 million, €70 million plus €10 million demands. Currently, the Gunners are offering the total package Sporting want, but with €5 million less upfront, which is proving to be a sticking point in negotiations for the phenomenal star. Sousa says he is unsure whether Varandas would even pick the phone up to Amorim should the Red Devils firm up their interest in the world-class striker, and believes that United are yet to make an offer because Amorim believes they have no chance of getting him. Reports previously had suggested that Gyokeres wants to play Champions League football next season. With United unable to offer any European football at all following their Europa League final defeat against Tottenham Hotspur, Matheus Cunha is already likely to be part of United's starting attack during the 2025-26 campaign, and he will be joined by Bayrn Mbeumo in the 11 should Ineos finally get a deal over the line for the Cameroon international after 1 month-long club-to-club discussions. The next step is for United to land a centre-forward, with Gyokeres seen as a dream target given how well he performed under Amorim at Sporting previously. Other names mentioned in recent days include Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins, as well as potential free agent moves for Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jamie Vardy should the Red Devils fail to land their preferred targets.